allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I open up the meeting, that you'll see that Dr. Ryan is not with us this evening. He asked to be relieved for tonight's meeting, that he had taken a superintendent's job down in Buffalo, Missouri, that he has to be on duty at 7:30 in the morning. So he asked that if he could step away from the meeting this evening, that as I go through the agenda items, that we will be calling on our consultant, Mr. Dahlman, to give the board direction. As we start the meeting, I do want to introduce our new assistant superintendent, Mr. Earholtz. Everyone knows Dan. Any words of wisdom?
Nope, I'll be in on Monday and we'll hit the ground running. So
we're certainly
sorry
thrilled
about the
that,
opportunity.
yeah, we certainly thrilled that he's given the opportunity and become part of the administrative staff. So I said that his true words is hit the ground running, and that is very true. We expect him to know every child in the district just like he did over here. Maybe not.
Okay, thank you for the meeting.
Maybe not. Okay. We will go to preview and approval agenda. Any additions or corrections?
So moved.
Second.
Second. We go to consent. Oops, pardon me. Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We will go to consent agenda. I will ask for a motion to.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I will tell the general public that that any hires is all in closed session anymore. That is not going to be part of our public consent agenda on the advice of our attorneys. Susan, can you read?
It's something fairly new. I know other board secretaries that I have talked to, they are all doing it in closed. They contacted our attorneys. She advised us to do the same. So all personnel is done in closed now.
So it will not be part of the agenda, only in closed session. So not ours, but under the advice of our attorneys. Any audience delegations on the agenda this evening? We'll go to communications, the MSBA delegate report, Mr. Cocker.
The governor vetoed House Bill 42, and that's generally thought to be a good thing. The meeting for the fall is October 1st to the 4th down at the lake, and that's all I've got.
And I assume that the board members that have already contacted Susan get their reservations in and so forth. Okay. Teaching, learning, public interest, we go assessment, evaluation, and district programs.
I'm not going to go over that again. We covered that in the public hearing, but currently at the end of May, which is what I'm reporting right now, we have a combined fund balance at 41.93. But of course, we've got to pay out the teacher contracts and all the contracts of the letters of intent for the classified folks as well. So it's going to, as I projected, go down to about 28.5.
The professional development program evaluation. This is will be submitted for report. If you have any questions, we can attempt to answer them. But
We just recommend as presented.
no, those are information.
We go to the Life Careers Program. Consultant.
Well, we were charged with putting together a committee.
and the committee met on 4 occasions. And as the chairman, I saw my position as being the person to gather information and bring it back to the committee and get them as much information as possible, and then bring it here tonight for discussion. There was no real consensus decided at that meeting among anybody other than we would bring it back and open it up for some discussion tonight with the board members. And at that, I would go ahead and at this point let them talk, and then I can add to that after they've spoken. If there's any concerns or comments or anything like that.
One question I had, the life careers class to give public some general information will be done at the high school, correct?
Yes.
It's not going to be part of the Cass Career Center, is that correct?
Part of the discussion and the decision was made not to keep it at the Cass Career Center because of mainly because there wasn't any room there anymore. And a secondary to that was that the way in which it was ran, it fell under Perkins, and they received some money from that, as well as some other. It just fell into that career center. The way we're looking at possibly looking at restructuring it would tend to lend itself more to special ed and the high school building. So one of the things we looked at was location. Was there a place that we could put it? And we have identified 2 possible locations that we could put it in the current high school. One of the things we looked at is how would we structure that, and part of the discussion was we would need 2 people probably, someone with special ed background and the education side, and then someone with the nursing background to do that. So we kind of looked at 2 people there. And what else? There's something else we were getting out of that.
The revenue generated, it was revenue neutral.
Yeah, we looked at revenues, what it could possibly cost. The current expenditures that I brought to the committee was currently costs us about around $70,000. Doing it the other way, we're looking at around $80,000. But then what that takes into account is you got to start taking into account insurance and not insurance, but yeah, insurance and retirement and things like that. Also, what we left out was at the Cass Career Center, they had a para. So when you take into account the cost of the instructor and the para versus the way we're looking at possibly structuring it now, it would be pretty close to revenue neutral. And that what money was left in the budget when we were looking at that. So it's not like it would be additional monies out of the budget that we presented tonight.
And again, just to help me understand, so the director at the high school would be formulating this program under her guidance, correct? It would be
the special ed director and the principal would work in conjunction. Physically, it would be at the high school, overseen by that, but then there's that special ed component as well that the special ed director would be involved in as well.
Last questions from...
Well, the significant thing that this program brings to our district is it is unique to this district, and it offers transition services. And transition is a big part of many things, particularly the promise we made when we passed bond issues a few years ago to maintain a home for our kids and provide services here. We have to provide transition services in work, and if we can keep one child from becoming society dependent and make them society a contributor, then it pays for itself in the long run. You know, and there are a lot of kids. I mean, we need to serve all kids. We need to serve all kids, and we have to understand that we're serving the engineer and the doctor and the carpenter and the electrician we're also the people who work in the service industry. And this gives our kids a chance. It gives our kids a chance, and it keeps us true to the use. And one of the places we've got to do this is in the 900 hall. There's a classroom that is open in the 900 hall that was taken from an office, but it's a very large classroom, and it just became an office because it wasn't used. That would be one place where it would be extremely useful, because the kids could have their own entrance and exit and wouldn't have to interact with the populations. And also, it means that we become a district people come to for guidance as opposed to going to other districts for guidance. So I think it's a win-win for our district.
I know that Mr. Knox, there was a handout given, and each board member got a handout with questions from Mr. Knox asking the program, so I know you'd like to comment.
Yeah, I've got a number of issues. I first want to state, I think this is a valuable program, and that does provide those services to the students. I think at this point in time, I believe we should look at for the 16-17 school year, not the 15-16 school year, for a number of reasons. Back when this class was terminated earlier in the spring, that class at the Career Center was replaced with a Fire Science EMT class. We hired another instructor for that class. And now we're looking at hiring 2 additional instructors above and beyond what was there to teach this new class, because we found out that one teacher that had 36 years experience prior to this was about the only one that could do it with one teacher. So we're looking at hiring 2 teachers for that class. At this point in time, I believe it's somewhat unclear what the new curriculum would look like with 2 teachers. It was stated in the previous open board meeting, as well as at least 2 times in the committee meeting, that the supplies and equipment listed for this class were outdated and would need updated to keep up with current technology. Previously, this class kind of got the hand-me-downs from the health sciences class. I have some concerns that moving to the high school, those hand-me-downs might not be as readily available for that class. Not to say they wouldn't be available, but they wouldn't be as readily available. I don't think we have a full and clear understanding of the expense of getting this class up and running from an equipment and curriculum standpoint. And I feel that giving this next year would be a good opportunity for us to really look at all those details prior to hiring 2 teachers for a curriculum that, yes, we had a class in place, but this one's moving schools, it's moving instructors, it's changing. It's going to be a different class, maybe similar, but it's going to be a different class. And I don't think we have a full grasp on what that new class is going to look like. Additionally, taking up space at the high school, I'd like to know, what's our growth for that? Are we going to add another class to the high school that's bringing in outside students and taking up another classroom space? Additionally, the class at the Career Center was supplemented, the costs of that were supplemented by bringing in outside students, paying tuition from other districts. The way we're looking at starting this class now, because we don't really have a good model, the curriculum's not really in place, those outside districts wouldn't even be eligible to send students till at least second semester. Part of that being, with these students being IEP students and being in the summertime, they wouldn't be able to be rewritten in order to send them, or budgets to fund the tuition for those additional students. So we'd be looking at second semester before those kids would even be eligible to come to this district. So there would be no offsetting income, and it would be an additional expense. I think if we take the next year to really evaluate what this cost is going to look like, get all those numbers in place, the responsible way to look at it would be look at it 16-17 school year. That's
how many students do we know are sending schools will bring? Do we have any idea at this point? Or what would be the conservative level?
Well, it's difficult, and I don't have those numbers right in front of me right now, but You know, we had original numbers, and then I sent an email out to the superintendents. I think, and correct me, committee members, if I'm wrong on this, but I thought it was like 18. Was it 18?
I think it's 25 on the high end.
Well, but I was going. Well, yeah, I was leaving out. But yeah, anywhere from 8 to 25, I think, is what were the numbers that we figured it could fall into.
Development is on the program.
Well, no, they said that they just gave us some numbers of what they gave us. They didn't really commit one or the other, but they gave us a number.
So, and we've investigated 2 people that will take that will start the program.
We have, yeah.
Nothing's been done. But
And we involved them in the committee meetings to share their ideas and how they thought the program would look and what their role would be.
And we'd be going from 1 teacher plus a full-time para to 2 teachers and not needing a para then, so.
Right.
You know, I think probably what you look at is, what are we here for? We're here to serve kids. And first of all, we're not restricted to not having kids until second semester. IEPs can be written at any time during the year, and Cindy schools can write IEPs, make adjustments in range transportation. You know, we're talking about a program that is good for kids. It's good for kids, and if we expand the vision of the program, it can serve not only our own children, but it can serve the district in terms of its credibility as we move throughout the spectrum. I mean, IDEA is a law that's very specific. It's very specific to the need to serve transition. And, you know, just walking away, if you want to look at classes that are under enrolled, we have a lot of classes within the district, and enrollment is not our sole objective. Serving kids, teaching kids is what we're here for. I would hope that we take that into consideration when we serve kids.
And we already presently have some of this transition in high school already that we are currently teaching special needs kids to.
Well, actually, what you have is a preparation for kids that will serve in a demographically specific location like the sheltered workshops. I mean, this program develops kids for competitive employment. We're talking about building citizens. And it works. I mean, there are kids, legally we can't name kids, but there are kids right now in our community that are working that have gone through competitive employment training. And it works. It really does work. And giving up, I mean, like, you look at firefighting, nothing against firefighting, but that's one of the most competitive, non-existent job situations in the nation. Because everybody wants to be a firefighter, and the numbers of jobs just aren't there. But we have 4 positions paid in Harrisonville. And do you have any hopes of being a competitive firefighter in this community?
With the firefighting, though, you've got a number of volunteers that serve their communities here and at large. You know, this class, not taking anything away from it, because it's I believe it's a very valuable class, but this class is certified in 1 CNA on average for the last 5 years out of this class. Those students would also be eligible to go through the health sciences class as it stands today. So yes, it does serve a niche, and I think part of the reason for sitting back and waiting a year on this, or my recommendation for that would be to really evaluate what the goals of this program will be. Is it to certify more than 1 CNA a year on average?
Yeah, but you have to realize we're in competitive employment, we're not in CNA. CNA is one of the components of the class, but we're also talking about techs.
We're talking
food
laundry
service.
aides, we're talking kitchen aides, where the growth industry is now. It is in the service industry. Unfortunately, people like me are probably going to be in those kind of places within a decade, and to expose our students to that environment with some before job training, I think would be an excellent idea. Plus, future employees get a look at them. Employers right now are very leery of hiring people without the intern experience, or whatever you want to call that, even at college level, and I think this provides a focus for our kids to be there.
Another thing that was pointed out in the life experience committee meetings by the current director and assistant director of the Career Center is that this particular class, we've already asked to then scale back from our health sciences class with nurses out in the district, and so we're having hard enough time filling those intern spots with those positions. The other thing is, there are other programs out there that will give kids those school to work opportunities that may not be in the nursing field. And if we can reach more students through another means, Mr. Domino next year may explore those means. We may be able to reach more students, and instead of hiring a teacher and a nurse, for one CNA, maybe we look at not hiring a nurse and just a teacher that can teach a broader range of fields, get students out in different fields other than just the nursing program. I think this class definitely has the potential to be one of those that other districts come and look at modeling. I just think that we need to take the time and really lay the foundation to meet as many students as we can possibly accommodate with the resources that we have available.
It's a year program, correct? Is your program just
well,
for seniors?
the 2 years. It's been 2 and 3 years. The previous one at the Cass Career Center. So, I think the discussion was looking at about a 2-year program, but depending on what it is that they're doing, the CNA part was 2 years, correct?
Yes.
To meet the help our kids in the district, our current program in high school, can that be expanded where it will open up those job opportunities like
I don't know that I'm the person to answer that completely. I would say, given what Lauren was talking about, given the nature of the disabilities that you're talking about, the spectrum's pretty wide, and the life skills is at the much lower end, and the lower you are on that spectrum, the more time you are required by a teacher. So it would be hard to do that, I would think. That's just my thoughts right off the cuff right now. I think especially the person can answer that better. But I would think that would be much harder because their skills and their intellect is so much lower that group is focusing. This group is a different. They're at the other end of the spectrum. So you're talking about 2 different ends of that spectrum.
Okay. Having a quality program from the get-go would be more beneficial in the long run, not necessarily in the short run, but in the long run, we need to be looking at this down the road. And whatever we have in place is not adequate, it's above adequate. And to do that, it takes time to get the increases in.
What you have to realize, Chad, is that this is not a beginning program. We're just looking at changing the location, taking the experiences that we have, changing the parameters of the class and continuing. We're not starting from scratch. We're way above that, but it's a unique situation that isn't provided in other places. And if we don't fill that niche with our kids and invite others in, someone will fill that niche, and we'll be looking at transferring our kids out.
Well, my opinion is when I got on the board that I got on the board to get early child opportunity to learn and grow. And, do all programs we serve make money? No, it doesn't. Does all programs lose money? No, it does not. But there's a special niche of students out there that I think we can benefit through this program. And that my main concern, and I stated last meeting, was that if we don't offer this program this year, are we going to lose sending schools from other programs? That's my main concern. But with that being said, I'm here to give every student. I think that the program has been in place for many years. Certainly, I'm here to say that there's not going to be pitfalls, there's not going to be discussions, there's not going to be items that maybe come up that we need to address. But I believe that there's a special niche that we need to provide for students in our district, and I believe this program is that special niche. As we move to the program that come in and help students. So, with that being said, then I will call for a vote, a recommendation from the board to either for or against with, and that so our consultant can move forward with our plan or not plan, and he needs to have direction.
Does that need to be a motion?
It will be a motion, and it will be a voice vote.
I move that we continue the CNA transition program and move to the next for the 2015-16 school year.
We have a motion, we do have a second. I will call for a roll call vote. We will go to Jay. Susan?
Yes.
Artie? No. Marie?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
I will vote yes. So, Frank, the board has given you directions to move forward. We will go to 2015-16 lunch prices. And first time our lunch prices paid through 5 or $2.25. For grade 6 through 12 is $2.50. Mr. Consultant.
Well, these prices, we're required to increase prices to a certain level, and this is a recommendation of food services, and I recommend that we go to a price increase.
This is an action item.
I move that we approve the lunch prices of $2.25 for grades K through 5 and $2.50 for grades 6 to 12. This is an increase of 10 cents. Unfortunately, we're mandated by the government to do this in accordance with the food guidelines.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We go to breakfast prices. Rate breakfast prices at $1.50 at all building levels.
Again, recommendation of food services, I recommend it. Accept it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We go to milk prices. Increase milk prices by 5 cents, making the cost 50 cents per carton.
Again, I recommend, based on their recommendation, the prices are going up.
I move we increase our milk prices by 5 cents, making the cost 50 cents per carton.
All in favor?
Aye.
We go to personnel, certified salary schedule.
The recommendation on the certified salary schedule is that we add $500 to the base and a step, a longevity step for everyone.
Move to approve the 2015-16 certified status schedule presented.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We go to the degree non-teaching salary schedule.
The recommendation is that we give all degree non-teaching personnel a step on the salary schedule.
Move to approve the 2015-16 degree non-teaching salary schedule.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We go to substitute teacher pay schedule.
Recommendation is that we accept it as presented.
Action item.
So moved.
She's approved. One second, that one. Yes, okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We go to other instructional pay schedule.
Again, recommendation is that we accept that as presented.
I move we approve the 2015-16 other instructional pay schedule as presented.
I'm going to do that for secretary. Yeah, driver cramp over here, so I'm kind of slow down a little bit. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We go to coaching salary schedule.
Coaching salary is based on a percentage of the increase on the base, and so that will reflect that. And recommendation is that we accept that as presented.
Move to approve the 2015-16 coaching salary schedule.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We go to 15-16 extra duty pay schedule.
The extra duty pay schedule represents a 1.5% increase on extra duty pay, and the recommendation is that we accept that as presented.
Action item.
Move to approve the 2015-16 extra duty pay schedule.
Mr. Bowman, I have a question. I didn't notice that the dual credit AP was on here. I thought that was something you're going to look at later, so far as the new semester being full year, et cetera. Is that something that we can pull out and look at separately, or?
You can certainly pull that out, I mean, and look at it. Make the recommendation, or we would make the recommendation is that we accept that for at least the first semester, and then we come back and evaluate that, because I know that or we could pull it off. We could pull that out. I would maybe probably look at that, pulling that out, and then come back next month with the recommendation.
That'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
I will withdraw the motion.
So we would need a motion to pull this off and
Well, to amend it to exclude the AP and dual credit stipends.
okay.
And just
Set the rest in.
for the record on that, so it's out there, we're not asking to do away with that, but there's some ambiguity in how it's being done right now, and we need to make that clear going forward. There's a lot of questions this year on one semester versus 2 semesters, and you know, things like that need to be fleshed out a little bit, so we know going forward.
Thank you for the clarification.
Motion, any second?
I move to approve the 2015 community pay schedule with the updated version. I'll do the second. Okay.
Sorry.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Go to 15-16 clerical technology business office salary schedule.
Recommendation is that we accept that as presented.
I move we approve the 2015-16 clerical / technology / business office salary schedule as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We go with 15-16 food service salary schedule.
Sounded broken up. Recommendation is that we accept that as presented as well.
I move to approve the 2015-16 food service salary schedule.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We go to 15-16 maintenance custodial salary schedule.
Again, the recommendation is that we accept that one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We go to 15-16 focus facilitator paraprofessional aid salary schedule.
Recommendation, we accept that one.
I move to approve the 2015-16 focused facilitator / paraprofessional / aid salary schedule as presented.
All in favor? Oh, got a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I apologize if I say schedule for the rest of the meeting. I apologize already. We go to business services. We have surplus property.
I'd like to.
We go to Mr. Bangor.
Yes, administration is requesting that the following items be listed as surplus property so that they can be disposed of. Rockford School has some desks, chairs, tables, and cabinets. The high school has a keyboard which does not work any longer. And the high school has the list of books, which is attached.
And for discussion on that, I'm concerned with the number of books that have been removed from the library, and I would like to surplus books run through a check to see what circulation is in. And if there's been circulation on those books within the last year or two, that they not be surplus.
If we, the new librarian at high school, have we hired her yet?
The transfer.
Transfer, okay. Has she approved of this
She
list?
approved tonight.
Has she looked over this list and made sure that?
I'm sure she hasn't.
No. Okay, she has not looked over it, so.
We can pull it down.
I would say table that until she's had an opportunity to see what book she would care to come out with that recommendation report. So that will be, everything will be except for the, as amended, the high school order.
So I make a motion that we pass this with the removal of the high school surplus books.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We go to 2014 budget amendment.
The business office is in the process of closing the year, of course, and there are a few expenditure items that require a budget amendment. These include adjustments to the federal grant expenditures, which allow the match to the final requested allocations. The amendments primarily include the Carl Perkins grant, the enhancement grant, Title I, Title IIA, and various other accounts with unforeseen budget activity. I attached a detailed budget spreadsheet, and if you will let you review that. If you have any questions on that, we'd like to entertain that. The second part of that is each year a board motion is required to approve a transfer from the general fund to the special revenue fund, bringing the special revenue fund to a zero balance as required by this. This is a two-part.
Questions?
The Perkins grant.
One, okay, yes.
I have it all in one motion, but we will do roll call because it's a resolution.
Okay.
What about the Perkins grants? I think the amendments include Carl Perkins grants. Would you explain?
When we set budget at the beginning of last year, the director did not have those final numbers, so we had zeros in those budget line items. So all I did was take what they received and plug those in.
Okay, so
There's no adjustment to it, it's just that we didn't have anything budgeted to it.
thank you.
I think we are up for an audit on Carl Perkins correct this year. And you don't have any idea when that's supposed to start?
No, I don't, from the purpose folks. Our auditors will be here the last week of August, and I know they're taking a look at that too.
Because I had asked for Frank to volunteer for that budget or our consultant, I'm sorry, volunteer for that, to be early to see where we're at. But we'll be aware of that.
Do you know if Carl Perkins about the same as it was in the prior year or this year?
This is an action item, the roll call vote.
I move we approve the budget amendment to adjust the expenditure appropriations as presented and to approve a resolution of authorizing a transfer from the general fund 001 to the special revenue fund 002 in the amount necessary to eliminate a special revenue fund deficit between revenues and expenditures estimated at $1.85 million.
Second.
This is a roll call vote, so RJ?
Yes.
Ms. Marie?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
Okay. Susie? And I yes. Okay. We will go to budget.
The budget that was presented in the budget hearing is the one that's being proposed tonight. We're required by law to have that budget approved, knowing that as things go forward, the budgets can be amended as the year goes on. This budget represents a somewhat of a conservative estimate on revenues, and my feeling is, and Kathy's as well, is that we'd be conservative and work going forward. That even at conservative, we're looking at a 4% reduction in fund balances. So that's what we propose at this time, knowing that we can amend it later as revenues increase or decrease.
I like the word conservative.
I move to approve the 2015-16 budget.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
I'd like to say thank you to Kathy and to Frank for working on this budget. It's an immense document. We appreciate your efforts.
I will say on the budget that I did ask for 1 month delay in this because of a new superintendent coming in. Mr. Ryan did a great deal of work, but I did ask it to be delayed for a month. That way that Mr. Dahman had a say in what the budget was and to get his eyes on it. So I did, so we are delayed a month than normal. And I thought it was only right for him to have an opportunity to look at the board and do next year for this issue. Okay. We'll go for bids for dairy products for 2015, 2016.
The bid for the dairy products for food service is advertised on May 22nd in the local paper. The notices were also sent to 4 area companies. They were publicly opened on May 28th at 10 a.m. There were 2 bids received. The bid tab was attached for your review. Administration is recommending award of the bid to Sunnyside Dairy for the 2015-16 school year.
I move we approve the dairy bid from Sunnyside Dairy with pricing as stated in the bid response for specified dairy products for the 2015-16 school year.
Second. Who was any cars last year?
I think the Sunnyside is primarily the people, primarily the producer.
Second.
I think the George did second.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We go for bids for bakery products for 2015, 2016.
This bid was advertised in the local paper on May 22nd also. The notices were sent directly to 3 area companies. They were publicly opened on May 28th. Two bids were received. Both bidders met all the requirements and required nutritional guidelines. Bids have less cash. Administration recommends approval of the favorable bid as stated to USB.
I make the motion to accept the bid.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Go for bids for fuel for 2015-16.
Where we at?
Fuel. The bid for station pump gasoline, diesel, and bulk tank diesel for the buses was advertised on May 22nd. The notices were sent to 5 area companies. They were publicly opened on May 28th. There was one bid response from NFA. Pricing on the gasoline and diesel will be based on daily selling prices. Discounts and applicable taxes are also presented in the bid. Administration makes a recommendation that we award to NFA Oil Company as stated in the bid response.
Questions? So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Go to bids for walk-in freezer / cooler. And this is on our budget item too.
We actually made this an RFP because the food service director needed this piece of equipment to be designed as well as built. So it's a little bit different than just going out and buying a refrigerator. So we had a pre-bid conference. 2 vendors did come in. The food service director and the assistant superintendent went through all the specifications. They did measurements. They made sure they knew what we needed, and they were told exactly how we needed those responses to come back. The pre-bid conference was on June 10th. We opened the bids on anyway, bids were opened. And also that we did have a stipulation that the work must be completed by August 1st. Administration recommends that we award the contract, the design, build, and the installation of the walk-in freezer to Hockenberg in the amount of $47,878. Who will be here? Mr. Hall, Jamie Hall, the maintenance director, is actually looking right now to find a contractor that can come in and do that.
So that'll be an addition.
Yes, yeah, and we had, our budget was $50,000, so we had almost $2,000 in savings, over $2,000. So we can take care of that, and there will need to be a little bit of electrical work done too. So Jim will take care of that.
And that would also be the contract.
Discussion?
That also covers startup.
Installation stuff. And also taking more of the bills. That's what we do next.
That's all going to be done for school year, is that correct?
I move we award the contract for design / build and installation of a walk-in freezer unit for HES to Hockenberg's in the amount of $47,878.
All in favor?
Second.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The SRO contract.
The attached contract is for the school resource officers. We have one at the middle school, we have one at the high school. We do this from year to year, and it's presented by the city of Harrisonville, of course.
And then that contract is?
We don't have a specific amount. We've got a number of hours not to exceed.
Okay.
It was rough, I think roughly it was 80,000.
80,000 for the two.
For two, 80,000.
40 on each.
Okay.
$1 amount per hour.
Yes, yes, it's not to exceed.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I'd like to pronounce this right, Aesop? ASOP agreement.
This past spring, our substitute coordinator resigned her position, and so we started looking for other solutions rather than having a live person making those phone calls and working with our secretaries. ASOP is a sub-funded program, and we visited with a lot of districts and actually had them come out and do a demo. And we think it would be a really good solution for us. It's also going to interface with our financial software into our payroll, so it's really going to benefit the business office. Currently, in order to get them to come in with the original setup, it's going to be $3,500. The total yearly price will be about $6,500, which is less than what the cost was for the sub-coordinators.
I have used this with other districts, and it is really nice. If a teacher wants to request a certain sub, they can put that in and email those to them first, and then it's listed for the general public. It's also so you can go in and look to see what all is required of it before you accept it. And if for some reason the sub ends up being sick or whatever, they can go in and cancel it on there immediately. It comes up for everybody else, and they start automatically calling. So it's really neat.
How many districts, how many school districts actually use the system? Several?
Well, but Missouri, I can remember.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I hate to see us lose people to start using machines instead of people. I think I would rather see us provide some, seek someone to work on the sub finder, as opposed to letting the machine do it and let people turn it in. I mean, it's just, if I understand it right, it's just an automatic call, and you need to have a
Put it on the computer, so you can go and just find in to see what's coming up and take it.
I mean, I hate to see us lose the human element.
And who has that right now?
It's one position.
Okay.
She left us.
She left.
So we would have to fill it.
She's been a person who had this head for several years.
And she left before that first term was over.
Right, before the end of the school year.
Action item, there's not any discussion.
I make the motion to accept it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Aye. We go to other reports or recommendations. One of the question I had was, how's the canopy, have we started working on the canopy over at the elementary day?
Not that I'm aware of. Jamie's supposed to be working on that. Last I talked to me, wasn't. Do you have any information on that?
He was waiting on engineering drawings. He wants to make sure he doesn't want to do anything to that canopy that might jeopardize the structure of it. So he's waiting for engineering drawings to come back. He told me that just.
Yeah, what they're looking at, since we have to move that back about 2 feet, they want to make sure that the engineers sign off on that, so that if something were to happen, then we wouldn't be liable for that. Because we've altered the design.
And I will ask that they know we're under timeline too, correct?
Yes, because I made that clear to him.
Okay, we're under to have that done.
Right.
Okay.
John doesn't want everybody coming in the side end. First day.
I made that clear to him in my conversation with him. That was a priority.
You want to say anything about board retreat?
Just do your homework. You will be tested.
Is that going to be the administration?
We're going to do that. It's going to be downstairs. Yes, ma'am.
That is July 6 o'clock morning.
You can start with
I
that.
used to go on the weights and then,
We'll send us an email.
with that being said, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Oh, one other question I wanted to say that Ms. Mulvey's not here. She is has taken a position. I thank her for her service to the district for how many years she's been in the district, and I know we have lost several administrative personnel. I asked them, I just want to say best of luck to them in their new positions. And so next meeting that you'll see quite a difference setting up here. So you'll see some new faces that's sitting in, and we'll continue to do the best for the district. So that being said, we had a second on adjournment. Is that correct? Yeah. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you.